Assalamualaikum and good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us via our Facebook page. Our conversation with myself, Dana, and Dan today on art therapy and mental health. So this is our first time discussing about art therapy and mental health via a public forum. Very excited to be doing this, although to be honest, I would be the last person talking about art. Because I do not have any talent in art, but this is why this conversation is so necessary, because a lot of people have this conception that you have to be talented or you have to be good at art or you have to love art in order to do art therapy, which Dana and Dan will be talking more about this. Dana, how are you today? Thank you so much for joining us.
I'm good. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm doing well. Thank you. I'm really excited to be having this conversation with the three of us today to hopefully, answer any questions or curiosities that our audience might have regarding this topic.
And also we have Dan. How are you doing, Dan?
Okay. I'm excited to be part of this forum.
Okay, alhamdulillah. So Dana and Dan run the art therapy classes. We are starting our art therapy class tomorrow, actually, Friday, with Dana from 3 to 5 p.m. at our clubhouse. So Dan will be starting his class next Wednesday from 3 to 5 p.m. We apologize. I know we promised to have the class yesterday, but unfortunately some things came up, so we were not able to have it then. So hopefully we'll see you guys this Friday, especially for the B40 group, because what we will be doing for this month, we will be offering the art therapy class for individuals and also groups that do not belong to the B40 group. So Dana will be handling that class. Maybe you want to share a little bit, Dana, about the classes first?
Yeah, sure. So I think we'll be having a few different sessions for groups and individual sessions at the clubhouse. And I don't think the dates have been confirmed yet of when it's starting, but I think it should be starting very soon. Yep. So there will be different groups for adults and groups for children as well, which we're planning. And also individual sessions for those that feel, they could benefit more from a one-to-one art therapy session. So it'll be similar to what we're doing on Fridays, or what I have been doing on Fridays, except obviously the individual session one would differ because, it's a one-on-one experience. Yep. But, still doing art therapy, still the same concept. So yeah, really looking forward to starting those. It's been a while.
Yeah, I know. Everyone has been asking us, when are the classes going to start? So alhamdulillah, very happy to be resuming it soon, inshallah. Okay, so just a little bit before we begin, guys. So at Miasa, we have been doing the art classes, I think 2 years ago, Dan, is that right? About 2 years ago?
Yeah.
And we also, just to give you a little bit of background, so the reason why we started the art classes was because Dan was very persistent in asking me and presenting this idea that he had, and I am so glad, I am so happy that I took his idea in, and we started doing the classes. And just to give you a little bit of overview, because, every time when we do public forums, we don't really have enough time to really talk about Miasa and our services. And a lot of people keep asking us these questions. So this is a very popular FAQ, right, Dana and Dan? So just a little bit before we begin, we actually launched our clubhouse last year during the World Suicide Prevention Day, September 10th. But Miasa has been around since 2017. And so we wanted to, we wanted a name that wasn't stigmatizing or gave a negative perception, be it shame or fear towards those struggling with mental health issues or mental health disorders. And so hence why we named it the Orchid Clubhouse. And what we strive to do as much as possible at the clubhouse is to provide or to offer non-medical alternatives, because medical alternatives are readily available at clinical settings, right? At hospitals and clinics and, rehab centers, Mentari and all that. So we as much as possible, try to provide other alternatives such as peer support, family support, circle time, circle of care, spiritual therapy, art therapy, supported employment program, job placement, expressive dance therapy, which will be starting this month for the ladies, and also mental health assessment, therapeutic assessment, counseling therapy, and more. So we can also assist B40, those that belong to the B40 groups. Those of you that don't have, for example, food or drinks or hygiene products, we also offer this as well. And one of the things that we focus on at the clubhouse is we are an activity center and also a crisis management center. So we have a crisis team that works 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, to help those that are in crisis. So that's just a little, bit of overview about Miasa. And also one important information is all the services that we provide at Miasa are free for the B40. So a lot of people, Dana and Dan, ask us a lot, what is the payment like? What are the fees like? So it's free for the B40s. If you belong to the M40 and T20 group, like how you pay for other services, you will have to pay for the service here at Miasa as well. So we want to make it more accessible to everyone, and we want to provide other alternatives because as we know, treatment is not just, medication and therapy. But even therapy, there's so many different kinds of therapy. When we talk about therapy, we usually think, CBT or DBT or mindfulness and things like that, when there are many other kinds of therapy, which is the conversation that we're having today, which is art therapy. So now going into the discussion, I would like to start off with Dan. Dan, so tell me a little bit, Dan, what made you present this idea, to Miasa a couple years ago, and maybe tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I've been doing an art class in Mentari for, wow, now it'll be about 6 years, I think. All right. So this is the Selayang Mentari. So when I came to Miasa because I heard that Miasa had a support group.
Oh,
so
yeah.
That's why I turned up at Miasa.
I remember
I
now.
turned up at Miasa. And when I just saw the potential, I just asked whether we can start an art class there, not because there were other people who seemed to, need some kind of outlet or so. And that's why I brought the idea up, and I'm glad you all took it.
I'm very glad. Thank you very much, Dan. So a little bit about yourself, then. Are you a peer? Are you a caregiver? Tell us a little bit.
Yeah. In my 40s, I think I went down with anxiety disorder and depression. So since then, I've been struggling with it. And when I retired, I actually took up art. Although before that, I thought I could never draw anything, But,
I know, right?
Yeah. Because that's a common
Misconception, yeah.
Yes. And when I found that actually, if you just put some effort into it, now that's why I have this belief that everybody can draw something.
I agree. Although it's a stickman, right?
Yeah. No.
No.
We can all get beyond stickman. We can all get beyond stickman.
Okay. Good to know.
Yes, you must just get the confidence.
Yep, I agree.
Yeah. So basically, that's the gist of what I actually do the art for. Just to tell everybody that they can actually do something. Everybody does things differently, but it's art.
Yep.
It's something beyond what you think you can do.
Thank you very much, Dan. I'm very grateful. All of us are, because you started this effort, you introduced this idea. Because if it wasn't for you, Dana wouldn't be here. You know what I mean? So thank you very much, Dan. And a lot of people have benefited from your classes. I'm very happy that now Dana is together with us and we can do more things. So over to you, Dana. Maybe a little bit about yourself and what made you pursue, this area of art therapy, being an art psychotherapist yourself.
Yeah, so, recently I got my master's in art psychotherapy from Goldsmiths, London University. And prior to that, I got my bachelor's degree in psychology. And prior to getting my bachelor's degree in psychology, I was trying to kind of practice making more art. And that was just kind of a little hobby that I had of mine when I was, 17, 18. And I think in school, I remember I really loved art, but I just never saw it as something that could go anywhere beyond just, enjoying art class in school.
True.
But I just kept kind of doing it, it was just a hobby. And I just realized the more and more I kept doing it, this body of work kept on growing. And I, in hindsight, I realized that I was expressing a lot of my experiences through visual art, through painting. And, some people would say that I am, a naive artist because I didn't go to art school and I'm self-taught, which is perfectly fine as well. I can totally relate to that, but it's just something that I kept doing. And then I was just, at some point in my life, I was wondering, how can I merge my two passions, which is, mental health, psychology, and art.
Yep.
And, at some point I moved back to Malaysia after my psychology degree. And I was just doing a lot of research because I just didn't know which path I was going on.
Yeah.
In terms of having my psychology degree. And then I found out that there's a thing called art psychotherapy. And there's actually courses and master's courses. It's like actually a legit thing that was available, not here, but it was available in, the States and the UK.
Yeah.
So I applied to it. I didn't get in the first time. I didn't get in the first time. So that was a little bit of a, but it was all meant to be.
Yep.
Because they said that I, needed a little bit more experience working and incorporating art in the mental health field. So what I did was I moved to London and I just kind of, researched a lot of charities and mental health NGOs. I just, just like what I did with Miasa, I just emailed them on my own saying, hi, this is me. I really enjoy doing art. I really would like to get more experience. And I have this idea that, I think maybe I could facilitate an art group
for
you guys. And the one NGO that was really keen on it was MENCAP, the Royal MENCAP Society UK. And they're the largest national charity for adults with learning disabilities.
Okay.
So, I went into this with zero experience.
Right.
I just had the passion and I was keen to share and to learn as well. From everyone that was there. And, it just started becoming a thing. I ran it for 2 years, applied to the course. I got in. I think that really helped, with me getting into the course and finished the master's, moved back, and here I am doing this session.
I know. But what were your thoughts coming back? Like you said, art psychotherapy, it wasn't available here in Malaysia. So coming back, did you have doubts? Like, were you going to get a job, having a master's in this? What were you thinking when you came back?
I definitely had a lot of anxiety and a lot of fear coming back, because in London I had, the support group. I had my peers, I had my lecturers, I had all my supervisors, all these, experienced art therapists that I was working with for the last 2 years.
So you were well supported.
I was well supported, very helped, I think that was one of my biggest fears, going back to Malaysia where it's not very well known, and I wouldn't be having the same support in terms of, having a group of art therapists readily available around me.
Yeah.
So, a lot of things that all the international students were prepared for, by our head of faculty was like, you're going to go back to your country and you might become a pioneer. You might become, be part of the start.
Right.
Thing. Because it wasn't just me. It was a lot of other students, that were from Taiwan, from Indonesia, from other places in Asia that it wasn't very, very well known.
Right. But that's the thing, right? Because you have the first mover's advantage. because it's not well known, because not many people, and you know, to be honest, I only knew about art therapy when you guys came on board. I never heard about it, so I didn't know much at all. And so that's why today's discussion, Dana, is very important, because I realize that a lot of people have been approaching Miasa about their art therapy, even corporations, right? Very interested to have it done for their employees.
Yeah.
So we realized that a lot of people don't know about it. So hopefully through this conversation that we're having today, we'll give a lot of exposure and also understanding, you know, towards the public about the benefits of art therapy. Yeah. Thank you very much, Dana, for sharing that. Okay, Dan, just wanted to ask you, when you first started the classes at Miasa, you know, what were your hopes and goals then? You know, what did you have in mind during the time? Because you knew I was kind of skeptical about it. Did you feel, you know, did I contribute to your anxiety during the time?
No, I was just wondering if I always wonder if people will turn up, that's all, you know, because it's just art.
I understand.
And yeah. So, no, I was just hoping to, because my art class is not concentrated on art, you know, it's just like a little support group meeting, but we have an activity to participate in, you know, it's a common activity. So I was not expecting much, but one thing I can say is the participants that come to the Miasa art class, the ones that come to Mentari are the hospital patients, more severe, you know. So their level of drawing is quite low, but the ones that come to Miasa are very good artists, you know. So sort of, you know, they can do better than me. But
so would you say, I mean, generally these peers that come, they are already good at art? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Surprisingly, a lot of them can surprise me. But I mean, the intention is not to outdo each other in art or anything. It's just to, you know, just have a little chat with each other and enjoy the communal based activity. That's my main goal.
So to be able to be of support one another, and then at the same time doing something that everyone enjoys, which is art in this sense.
Yeah, it's just like when the Mentari in Selayang started, and my psychiatrist there, Dr. Yati, she said, "Can you run a little art class?" You know, and then I was just in my mind, I was thinking, "Hey, what am I supposed to do?" She says, "You just teach them how to draw. That's all. You know, you just do that." And it was many years of trying this and trying that. I was very, how would you say it? I had too high, my expectations were really high, so I tried charcoal drawing and all this, you know, which was beyond too much. Then I simplified everything. And, and here I am now. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Dan. You know, Dan, it's very interesting because this is one of the ways what we try to do as well is to empower peers. And I think this was what Dr. Yati had in mind when she asked you to do the art class. So maybe you want to share a little bit, Dan, on how has this process helped you? You know, because you're the teacher, you know, you're the one that started this whole initiative. So how has the experience, you know, been for you, and how has it helped you? Because you know, for me, I've learned a lot from you because you are one person that, you know, you say we need to make ourselves useful. And, you know, this is one of the things that I talk a lot about, but it's also because of you. You know, you introduced this concept to me, and this is what we say a lot, or we try to encourage people to do, right? So to be of service to others, and this is what Miasa stands for. So maybe a little bit on how it has helped you then in your journey to recovery as well.
Yeah, well, if you have depression, one of the key things you need to create is meaning making. You know, doing something that you feel is meaningful. And
I agree.
when I started teaching this art, let's say in the Mentari first, you know, the people who come, they really don't know, or they don't think that they can draw or something. And then you actually show them that, wow, you know, they can make some really good drawings, even with crayons and stuff like that. So you feel good at the end of the day. That makes meaning for you, you know.
Yes.
So to me, it's a kind of a meaning-making exercise. Plus, of course, socializing, you know, which is very important.
It is.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Good. Thank you very much, Dan. Okay, Dana. So going into this conversation, Dana, tell us a little bit about art therapy. Why is art part of therapy, and how does it work with people that have mental health issues or mental health disorders?
So art therapy basically, you know, is just a form of therapy where we're also using art as a tool to help express ourselves. So rather than just, you know, a regular talking therapy session, which, you know, in art therapy, we do talk as well. It's not all silence.
Right.
But we have, you know, we do have the art making process and the visual aspect involved. So in art therapy, you know, it's a triangular relationship, you know, with the art making, the client, and the art therapist. So it's all these three things combined together that make the session. And basically, you know, art therapy, you know, just involving arts along with talking just helps us explore feelings and explore emotions that come up during the process, and also through, you know, the artwork, the end product. But, you know, like I always say, it's not about the end product itself,
Right.
it's about the whole process.
Correct.
So I think, you know, when you have someone there with you to help you kind of organize and understand these feelings that come up, that's kind of what the art therapist is there for.
Yeah.
To help facilitate. You know, we're not there to tell you what to do or how an artwork is supposed to look like. You know, it's very client-led, the way I run it. And yeah, whatever comes up, we will explore it together, and, you know, we just keep making more artwork to try and help the you know, the peer understand themselves a little bit more, help to regulate emotions. I think it's a really important and, you know, a safe way to express yourself. Express really difficult feelings as well. You know, I think the thing with art therapy is it's not always, you know, positive, and like it's not all, you know, colors and sparkles and all that stuff, even though yes, it could be, you know, because it can release stress, it can de-stress. But also, you know, sometimes with people, it helps them talk about more difficult experience, difficult feelings. And I think art allows us a very safe and healthy way to express a lot of, you know, deep issues and personal experiences that we have.
Yeah, because some people, they're not very good in articulating what they're feeling and going through. So art makes them, you know, is a different way, an alternative for them to be able to express these emotions. I've read somewhere, I have it here, where it's from Penny Brown Cancer Center. They said that research has shown that art therapy has been used quite successfully to help children learn to effectively communicate, improve concentration, improve behaviors, and develop closer relationships. It has shown to improve moods, promote relaxation, and decrease disruptive behaviors and attitudes. And this is a huge evidence, Dana. Yeah. And, you know, like you were saying, in the UK, you know, you worked a lot with children. Maybe you want to explain a little, because I think a lot of people think that art therapy is for adults, but maybe you can share a little bit on how it's used for children as well and how it benefits them.
Yeah, so basically in the UK, I think almost every school has some form of creative therapist, whether it's a play therapist, a dance or movement therapist, or an art therapist. Right. So I was an art therapist in a primary school and also an early years education center. So in a primary school, I was working with, you know, your kind of usual suspects, the bullies,
Right.
the ones who had trouble focusing in class or things like that. It was just a way for them to, safely express themselves. When there's in school, there's so much going on. With a lot of these kids, there's so much going on at home as well.
Yeah.
That, it's not necessarily something they come to school and like just express all these difficult things they're going through at home. They express it in other ways.
Right.
Be it through, more difficult behavior or wanting to rebel, not wanting to do work, not wanting to show up to class.
Right.
So I think, offering them this space just for themselves makes them feel like, oh, someone is here and someone cares about how I'm feeling and what I'm feeling. And, in the early years education center, I was working with a lot of really young children. So below 5,
right.
5 below. My youngest was actually 17 months.
Wow, 17 months? Okay, so
months,
a toddler could already hold a crayon or a paintbrush. How does that work?
So, the session is very abstract.
Okay, got it. So it could just be your palms and you're working through the art, through the paint.
So it is, it's a very different experience, of course, but I think a lot of these children really needed that space. Because a lot of the kids that I worked with had, been through traumatic infancies. A lot of them were experiencing, violence at home.
Right.
And, parents who have been through a lot of trauma. Right. And, just very difficult, complicated situations at such a young age. And I think, that's the one thing about the school system there. They kind of focus on early intervention, which is what I was doing. So early intervention is so important, I think, which is why crucial, exactly. Yep. So which is why they were, they already knew that these children were going through such difficult experiences at home, that it was crucial for them to have this space in school to allow them to express themselves in any way they want. So, with really young children, it can be through making a mess with the paint.
I know.
It could be, but it just really helped them like kind of regulate their emotions and
definitely
have this kind of routine every week, knowing that there's a safe space for me to go to and just release. So I think that was really beneficial to a lot of,
and they're not judged, right?
They're not
and
judged.
They're not judged. There's no right or wrong, and they're heard, right? Being heard in a different way, right?
So they're being held.
Yeah, exactly.
In this space every week. They're being held by me, they're being held by the team. And I think what you said is really important. The fact that they're not being judged. Because I think in classes you start to feel, maybe competitive and
exactly,
you start to feel that you're not good enough in comparison to someone else. But then when you come to art therapy, you realize, it's not about that. I feel so good just expressing myself.
There's no right or wrong.
It makes me feel good.
Right.
And I think it does help with kind of making yourself feel a little bit lighter, in a sense, kind of offloading in a healthy way. So
very, very, very good. Guys, those of you that are watching, I just want to share a little bit about my experience with art therapy during the first MCO. So when the first lockdown happened, I've shared it a couple of times where, my anxiety levels were really off the roof. I think a lot of people were affected when the pandemic first hit. But because we're very resilient, which resilient is ordinary, guys, it's not extraordinary, that a lot of people are now able to cope better, right? But one of the things that I did during the first lockdown was I tried art therapy for the first time. So I followed Dana when you were doing your videos. Remember the first MCO? Yeah, we did a lot of content online. So, I was struggling. I wasn't able to focus, and I took my, drawing block and I started opening. I followed you and I felt so relieved. I felt the process of doing it. I'm not good in art, guys, and art that would be my last choice. If I had a choice, art wouldn't be my pick, Dan. I think you know this. So, but I was desperate to try something, and I said, you know what? I have to walk the talk. Let me try this out. And I tried it, Dana. And today, whenever I feel stressed, I invite my kids, because my kids love art. I think, you know, Dan especially, you know that, especially my daughter, Dahlia. Yeah. So I do it with them. And it's such a satisfying process for me, even though, you know, my output, you know, it's not great or anything, but I feel really relieved, and it's distressing. And the best part about the whole thing, guys, I enjoy doing it. Which is so shocking for a person like me. So those of you that, you know, that are watching, if you've never tried it, please give it a chance. Give art a chance. Try it out. You know, we've got classes. You can come in. We also post our videos, so you can also follow suit. So today is special because we're going to do a little bit art today. So I'm going to follow a little bit, but before we do that, I want to go ahead to Dan. Dan, do you have your art material things around? Do you want to show what are some of the things that you've done that you can share, that, you know, people can get an idea of, you know, what they can expect when they come to your class?
No, actually, I didn't prepare anything.
You didn't bring anything?
No.
Maybe you want to just share, what are the things that you do, some of the art things that you do in class?
Okay. It's basically a repeat of what I did when I first started to do art, you know, because I was at a stickman stage. So
we were all there.
So anyway, you know, I started copying other people's this thing, and one of the easiest things to do is actually to copy cartoons.
Copy cartoons,
you know, because
isn't that hard?
No. Cartoons
is the easiest.
There's the easiest because they really don't have to look like a person, you know.
Ah, okay, so, I got you. Okay.
Yeah.
So there's also no right or wrong, because it's a cartoon, right? It can be anything. Got it.
So this is where I learned to actually, you know, firstly, I must say that there is a difference between what I do and what Dana does, probably, because Dana is proper art therapy, which is, you know, doing with a lot of creative things. I basically repeat my experience of how I learned how to
I mean, of course, you're an expert by experience, Dan. That's what you are.
Because you must understand, you know, I never went to any. I wasn't in the art stream, and my whole line was computers and geology and everything. So after I retired, I just decided to try it. You know? But okay, coming back to this. So what I learned was there is part of art is how to look at a drawing, recognize the shapes, you know, and then duplicate the shapes as best as you can on the paper you have.
Yeah.
So I would call myself a creative. I'm more a copy artist, you know. But
Dan is always the humble person, guys.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know, so I look at what other people have done, and I do it, and I'm always pleased that I can basically do something like a real artist can do, you know. Okay. And the other thing is to work with different mediums. And right now I love watercolor.
Yes.
All right. So learning watercolor is a technique by itself. But we also did a lot with crayons. I am surprised that crayons is not a kid's thing, you know.
I know.
You can actually do very nice drawings with crayon.
I agree.
Although you get your fingers all dirty. You know, simple materials, and at the end of the day, you do get some kind of pleasure that, you know, you've done something. And I hope, what I hope is that I pass on this to other people, you know, that they come to my class and they think, oh, you know, I cannot draw anything. In fact, the first art I did in Miasa was actually, I taught two ladies in Miasa who thought they couldn't draw, how to draw something, you know, which is a basic cartoon. And they were so pleased, you know, that they could do something.
Of course. I can relate.
So anyway,
very good.
I think I've drifted off somewhere that I don't know.
No. Very good, very good, Dan. Yeah, just wanted to give, you know, those that are listening and some idea on, you know, what you do in class. And I have, you know, there's so many questions here. A lot of people are so interested. You know, they were asking in Malaysia, Dana, where do people go to learn art, to be an art psychotherapist? Do they offer it right now?
In Malaysia, not that I'm aware of.
Okay.
I think it's still something really quite new. I mean, I think there are a lot of maybe kind of certificates you can get online, but you know, that can just kind of give you, it's kind of an art therapy 101, where if you're just curious to kind of learn more about it, and if you're already like a mental health practitioner that's just curious about it, I think there are these kind of short courses that you can do online. But it doesn't, you know, give you the license to
be. Maybe we can do some short courses, Dana. It's a lot of people interested. You know, could be something we can do. You know, in future.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of students have reached out to me, psychology students that, you know, haven't really even been exposed to art therapy. You know, just like my experience when I was going to college here, it's not a thing that I heard of at all.
Right.
You know, even though I was studying psychology for 4 years,
right?
It's not something that was spoken about at all. I think it's just so kind of alternative and like new. That it's taken quite a while to create awareness around it. I mean, even in the UK, it only started in the 60s, which is not that long ago.
Yep.
You know, but obviously it's been around for a while. But I just wanted to touch on, you know, something Dan said earlier about
go ahead.
Something that Dan said about, you know, how he had no experience in art and he was kind of this like computer IT guy, and you just started you know, doing art after you retired. And I think, you know, you're kind of living proof that you don't have to have started as an artist early on in life. You know, it's something you can just pick up at any time, whenever. And like, you know, you yourself said that you didn't know you're not an artist or anything, but here you are.
Exactly.
You know, so I think you're just like living proof of that anyone can explore and keep nurturing and keep practicing, just like with any other skill that's out there, you know, be it baking or dancing.
Yep, definitely. Age doesn't matter.
No, and we can all learn, you know, it doesn't matter when. You just got to have that kind of will and that open mind and that curiosity.
Passion.
And that's enough. That's enough, yeah.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dana and Dan. Okay, let's see what we're gonna do today, Dana. I have everything ready. Got my Sharpies and my thing, and I just want to show you guys. I did this a couple weeks ago.
Oh, so you did that kind of that method of filling in.
And you know, guys, the thing about me is when I start doing this, somehow I have to finish it. You know, so it takes me a while, but I enjoy it. So when I enjoy it, I can't stop. So I do it till I'm done. All that kind of. Yeah. Okay.
Well,
sorry, Dana.
Everyone kind of has different processes, and you know what makes them feel like this is enough, or I need to do more. And if you need to finish it in one setting, that's fine as well. Some people want to finish it throughout the week. Do little things here and there. But for today, I just thought I'd show a really simple activity that I've done actually many times before. I actually just recently did this in a workshop with some students, and this is also the activity that we did with do you remember that one day we had with the homeless population?
Oh yeah. The homeless folks.
Yeah. So I actually did this activity there, and it's a really simple thing, but you know, from that experience I just feel like, wow, you know, it doesn't matter how simple an activity sounds, it's what you make of it.
Yep.
And you know, all the people that were there, you know, everyone was given the same brief, but everyone's work was so unique, and they really brought up a lot of things about themselves that they were so happy to share from their artwork. So, which is why I chose this one today, because it's something super easy to do from home. So I've done mine.
What is this called?
This is the hand portrait activity.
Hand portrait, okay.
Yeah. So this is actually one that I did at the clubhouse.
Okay.
Before, and clearly that day I was feeling very calm.
Okay. A lot of pink. We love pink.
A lot of pink, everything. I think I was having a very, very good day.
Okay.
So it's called a hand portrait activity, and basically all you need is just, you know, an art block. I've got an A4 paper. I'm not sure if you got a bigger piece of paper, but all you have to do is just turn it this way and then put your hand on it, and just like you would do in kindergarten or primary school, I'm sure we've done this before, to outline and trace your hand.
Okay, and you can use any kind of materials for this, right?
Any kind of material is fine, whatever you have around. So which is why I like to think of, you know, really simple, accessible activities that you can do at home, basically with, you know, even if you've just got a pencil, that's fine as well.
So you just outline it with whatever color?
Yep.
Yeah.
Just outline your hand. That's the first step. So like this.
Got it.
And then what we would do is we're going to make these lines across. So it's really simple. You just start anywhere. Just lines across the page.
You do it, do you use the same color? It can be any other color?
Literally there's no, you can, you know, go with rainbow colors, you can go just black, whatever you feel, but I'm just showing you, you know, just with one color, just because of, you know, time limits and stuff like that. But you can feel free to experiment, get creative, but this is kind of just the main foundation right now. So basically what we're creating with the lines is we're, you know, creating these little boxes and compartments inside and outside of the hand.
Okay.
Sorry, it's looking a little bit messy, but it's just because I'm holding it up like this.
Okay.
So yeah, basically that is the foundation of it. If you've done that already.
Done. I'm done.
Okay. And what I like to tell people is you are free to, you know, fill it in any way you like. So, you know, some people do ask me, they say, where do I start? What do I fill in? What color do I go for? What do I do? So I like to say that, you know, if you're having these kind of thoughts, maybe start with how you're feeling right now.
Okay.
In the present. So you can just fill them in. So what I did was I filled in the, you know, the hand, and then the rest outside, I just filled it with patterns.
Okay.
That was just how I chose to go about it. But, you know, fill it in with a color that you're feeling right now. Maybe write a word that you're feeling, start off with just one of them anywhere, and then you just kind of keep going, whatever comes to you, whatever gravitates to your mind. I feel like this really kind of gets to, you know, share a little bit of your personality, how you're feeling or how you have been feeling. Based on my recent experiences with students, you know, I gave them the same brief that I'm giving to you, but some of them actually did, you know, inside of the hand, they wrote the positive things they feel about themselves, and outside was the negative things. So all of them kind of interpreted it in their own way, but this provides them the foundation to just basically express things about yourself. Yes.
Sorry. So do the colors represent what you're feeling right now, or is it related?
Well, I think, you know, that's very subjective.
Okay.
So let's say we had two different students who both used green in their hands. Both of them, I noticed, you know, during the end session where we were kind of discussing the artwork, both of them used a lot of green. And when we discussed it, for one of them, green represented envy. And for the other student, green represented growth. So that's a very interesting thing to think about, because, you know, we always think that maybe one color represents something, but it is a representation of how we experience and see color.
Okay. So it's unique to you, unique to the person.
Yeah. Okay. So, you know, there's no need to overanalyze what this color means. It's just what it means to you. you know,
Yeah.
just like to that one person, green meant envy, to the other person, green meant growth.
Right.
So I think that was a really important part of the reflection process, because the other students then got to see, you know, that green doesn't just have to mean one thing. It really depends on the individual and how they view green and what green represents to them. So yeah, you know, maybe if you're struggling with more abstract stuff, what I would say is you can also write down words.
Yeah.
And then, you know, doodle things around those words that, you know, would represent that word. So for example, for me, I was calm, and the things that make me calm is, you know, just looking at the sky, being in nature. So just to show you kind of like an example, everyone's is really different. And Puan Anita, I think this might, you know, this is something you might continue as well after this session, because you're probably not going to be able to fill
No, of course
the
not.
whole thing.
Yeah.
But I would love to see your finished
Yeah, I definitely will show it to you.
in the clubhouse or something.
Yes. Then the other thing is, a lot of people have been asking me, like, the final output, right, of the art that we produce, does it show our personality? Can you tell something about a person from their artwork?
Yeah, I think this is the question that I get quite a lot. You know,
Yeah.
are you able to kind of read me through an
Yeah.
image? You know, it's really not that easy. You know,
Yeah.
I think it's more of the process. The art therapist can kind of maybe remember what the process was like and things that were brought up while we were making that image.
Got
So
it.
it's not necessarily the end product. It's, you know, us both remembering together about things that were discussed and feelings that were brought up during the image. So, you know, to simply answer your question, no, we cannot, you know, analyze your image, because that will be basically judging a person based on the image.
Yeah.
And you know, we don't do that. We don't judge someone just based on an image. It's a whole process. You know, it's a long-term process. The peer is getting to know themselves through the art. You know, the therapist is also getting to know the person through the art. So
Right.
you know, if everything could be read in one image,
I know.
need art therapy sessions.
You don't even need a psychiatrist.
And yeah, and also that will probably make my job so much easier. But you know,
Exactly.
that's not how it is. But I think that's one of the fears that a lot of people have. You know, like, oh,
Yeah.
you're gonna be able to analyze me based on this one thing. But you know, I can't be analyzing something based on my perception. This is your experience. We're just going, all I'm there to do is just to help you explore emotions and feelings.
Yeah, there's one comment here from Azamila Marni. Sorry guys, I'm not able to read everyone's comment, but she said, I love it when we're free to choose any colors without overthinking about the meaning behind it. Just go with the flow. Freedom. It's relaxing.
Yeah.
Absolutely, right?
Yeah, definitely. So I think, you know, that's why in a lot of my sessions, I will never tell someone to, you know, pick a certain color, because that kind of, I guess, ruins that kind of freedom of choice that the person has. And you should be able to freely express how you want.
Definitely. Yeah.
So
it's not a rigid process or anything.
Even in terms of materials, like for this particular activity, you can just use whatever is around you. You know, if you feel like using watercolor to do this, you can use watercolor. That's the thing I like about these kind of activities, where it can be worked with different mediums, and it can suit what you like and what you prefer and how you would want to, you know, make the art.
Right. It also encourages creativity, right, Dana? Because some people might think they're not creative people.
Yeah.
But then you realize when you're doing the art, I'm quite creative, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. I think, you know, we're all born creative beings. It's just, you know, just like with anything else, it's, do we choose to nurture it or not?
Right.
And, you know, obviously in primary school, in kindergarten, it's so creative based, it's so creatively focused.
Yes.
You know, they encourage, you know, getting messy, finger painting, but why do we lose that the older we get?
Right.
You know, the older you get, it's maybe started to consider a waste of time, or not something that's important, not something that's beneficial. So I think that's the kind of narrative that there's
no career in it.
There's no career in it, but you know, that's the kind of narrative that we have to break.
Right.
Art is for all, and you don't do art to be an artist, or you don't do art to make millions. I mean, I guess some people do,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's for yourself.
Yeah.
We're all, at the end of the day, we're all human beings that want to express ourselves one way or another. We all express ourselves in different ways.
Definitely.
And art is just one of them. And I just think that, just kind of providing that foundation to people and that inspiration and motivation to start makes a lot of people realize that you don't have to be this, creative person on a daily basis.
Right.
But I always just say, as like, someone like me who enjoys baked goods, like pastries and stuff. I wish I knew how to bake. I always tell myself, oh, I can't bake, I'm not a baker. Right. But it's just one of those things that then you have to practice. You just got to have that willingness to try it and do it. And then next thing you know, you could be a baker, but at the end of the day, it's just something you enjoy doing. So
definitely.
Yeah,
and it's interesting when you spoke about putting words in it, because I remember there was this one time when I was trying a lot of different things, and flipping my drawing block, but I saw this. I did something like that where I put words in it as well, and I never knew until you said it right now. Yeah, about putting words as well. So
yeah, because not a lot of people can, like, obviously maybe for Dan and I, we can maybe express ourselves visually.
Yeah.
And I don't think it should be just limited to visuals. I think, if you feel like putting words in, if that helps you kind of tie the whole thing together, or tie the whole experience together, that's fine as well. Adding kind of more layers to it.
Yep.
To help you understand your image better. So if words help you a little bit more, you can write a word, you can write a poem on your art, there's just so many layers of yourself that you can add to an image.
Right. And you spoke about reflection, Dana. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So I think that is, the kind of almost the biggest part of an art therapy session, or the groups that I run. I think that kind of brings the whole experience to another level. So, obviously there's the art making process, which is really important because that's the time for ourselves, to express ourselves. But at the end, especially in a group kind of setting, the reflection process, I kind of do it for maybe half an hour, depending on the time of the group. But I feel like that's a really important time for us to kind of, share our experiences within the group to help us relate to other people, understand others, to feel this sense of connectedness. And I think it's such an eye opener, for me as well. Whenever I'm part of those reflection kind of sessions, I'm learning so much from what everyone is discussing and sharing. Just like, if we didn't have that reflection process in the workshop that I was talking about, where the students discussed what green meant to them, if we didn't have that reflecting time, we wouldn't have learned that.
Exactly.
So I think that's what's really important, kind of sharing your experiences. And I think it kind of gives this feeling of being like less isolated as well, being able to connect and to hear other people sharing experiences through the same activity that they've just done with you.
And learning from each other, right?
Learning from each other. That's a huge part of this. And, I'm also always consistently learning, even though I'm the facilitator in it.
Right.
I'm learning from these groups all the time. And I think that's like actually one of the most beautiful parts of the session, the art therapy session, the sharing and reflecting part. Because I think a lot of people as well, if there's no one there to kind of maybe guide them and explore these things, it could just be a visual to them.
Yes.
They wouldn't maybe know how to kind of navigate or think about these feelings that were brought up within themselves.
Right. Because you're able to discuss these feelings, right, while you're doing the art. So you're able to guide them through it and process these emotions and everything. Dana, I'll get back to you. Dan, I saw you showing your artwork. Do you want to go ahead and share so that everyone can have a look? You're on mute, Dan. Okay, there we go.
Just do the step the actual. I'm going to share. This is what I hope I can do this.
We saw something earlier.
Yeah.
Okay. You see, this is the art class in Mentari, and basically,
Dan, sorry.
Yeah.
Dan, sorry to interrupt you. I think you it's a little bit noisy on your background.
Hey.
We can hear a lot of people talking.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Because Catherine is also on a phone call.
Oh, I see.
Okay. Anyway, so this is you see, there's a lot of artwork. I want to show the way I do it in the Mentari is different from the way I do it.
We're not seeing anything, Dan.
Oh, okay.
We don't see anything, and we can't see you as well.
Okay, sorry, Chromium tab. Huh? Okay, I'm learning how to use Zoom.
Okay, we
can can you see this? Okay, we can see it now.
Okay, so this is basically the Mentari art class. You see a lot of materials that I've printed out.
Right.
And the class basically there would just share what's this? They would pick what they want to paint, because I don't. This is where I give them the freedom of choice. You know. So they use what they want to use. So some will use watercolors, some will use crayons, some will use pencil colors. You know. So on that side, because there are many different mental disorders,
right?
And so the autistic person there will like to do crayon, so I let him do his crayon thing and all that. But yes, now what I was showing was something like my level of art is. Wait, hold on a second.
Yeah, we're not seeing it, Dan, yet.
Okay, so.
We don't see you now.
So you see.
Okay, there we go. Yes.
I like to draw faces.
I've noticed that.
So you see
really
this
nice.
misshapen face there. But anyway.
That's not a cartoon, right?
It's sort of somebody's drawing, you know, and I just copied out this thing. But every one of us has a passion for this thing. But going on what Dana was saying about the reflection process.
Yes.
I do not reflect really on the art, because everybody does something different. So and they are not really used to talking about. Let's say on the Mentari side, they're not really used to talking about this thing. But I base it more on what I learned that you do on the support group.
I see.
I try to get people talking about their life, you know, and how they spend their week.
So because, it's more like a support group.
Yeah, on my this thing, because let's say in the Mentari side, these are people who only come out once in a while, you know. They really suffer some severe mental disorders.
Yeah.
So the art class is a chance for them to come out and share things, you know. So I would try to get them talking about this thing. The art is really secondary, this thing. So a bit different from psychotherapy. It's just a support group. I would really call it a support group.
Yes, a peer support group, which is evidence-based, Dan. So that's
Yeah.
why it works. Alhamdulillah, very good. Thank you very much, Dan. Okay, so going back to Dana. So what else, Dana? So we're just to show I know everyone's curious. Yeah, not very great, but yeah.
Looking good so far.
Yeah,
I also wanted to.
Okay, so
I was gonna add something really quick as well about art therapy. It's not only the making that can be therapeutic, but also viewing art is as important.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
So that's a big
I've
thing.
always wondered about that, because I see a lot of people going to art gallery and I look at the art, I don't understand, doesn't mean anything to me. So how does that help, Dana?
Yeah, so I think like in the UK they were doing a lot of with senior citizens from like old folks home, or even children from primary school, taking people out to exhibitions and letting them view artworks, and then talking about how they feel when they look at a certain painting or a certain artwork. So it comes down to like that kind of reflecting as well. And then when you look at an artwork, you think, oh, why does this make me feel sad? This artwork makes me feel sad. So it kind of just helps with understanding your feelings and emotions. So I think viewing art is as important as making it, I think, which is why people who do go to art exhibitions and stuff, there's a reason for it. Obviously, you can love art, but it's also about how it makes you feel. And then feeling like you can
So self-awareness,
and then feeling like, you can relate to artists, to the artist's experience. So it's just like, when you listen, it's the same thing with music. When you listen to a certain song, maybe you listen to this song when you're sad, you listen to this song when you're in a good mood. It's a kind of similar, it's a kind of similar experience. So I just thought that, that's something quite interesting to share as well, because that's not really talked about, viewing art is as important as making it as well.
Viewing, true. Yeah. That's a very interesting point. How about self-esteem? Does it foster self-esteem as well? Does it increase self-esteem of a person?
In terms of viewing art, or just art in general, making?
Art in general. Definitely. When you do art, it does?
I think from all the experiences we were talking about as well, how Dan was saying as well, like, with those two peers that came to Miasa and learned how to draw that cartoon, I'm sure they felt, this boost of self-confidence after that, being able to have
exactly,
done something that they didn't
conferred confidence to them.
Yeah, it builds confidence to them.
It definitely builds confidence, especially when it's in a safe environment as well, where you're not being judged for your work. You feel good about yourself, even just completing something, even just maybe not even completing an artwork, but having done something. Really, it's all these little things that at the end of the day really help with your self-esteem.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I think we have only a couple minutes left. So there's a lot of comments and questions here, but a lot of them, from what I can see, are counselors. We have psychology students. We've got even a medical doctor. So they're very interested to know again what I've asked you earlier. In Malaysia, where do you get certification? So maybe this is an opportunity for us at Miasa to do maybe short courses as well, Dana, for people that are interested, so that they can teach it to their students, or other medical officers, for example, or even doctors or psychologists. Because we had this one time, I think many psychologists came to Miasa to learn art therapy. So I think a lot of people are really interested. They just don't know where to go for this.
Yeah, I think definitely in like what I've been doing lately, webinars, just kind of talking about it, kind of like a one-on-one. But with my training, it was very experiential. So I think that is a huge part of learning as well, having that experience. So maybe going to, or having an experiential art therapy class where all these mental health professionals can join in and see what the experience is like for themselves. Because with art, it's not something you can really teach.
You've got to experience it.
You've got to experience it. Like my training as well, like it was very heavily focused on the experiential learning, really going out there and doing it, going for group therapy, doing being part of art therapy groups. So I think that is an important way to learn as well.
Right. Where is Miasa's art therapy workshop located at? Okay, we are, I know that a lot of people get confused because we've moved. So during the RMCO June, we moved to PJ Old Town. So those of you that are familiar with PJ Old Town, we are diagonally opposite of Asunta Girls School. We're at Jalan Changai right now. So you can just Google us. You can follow us on, Instagram, Facebook. We're also on YouTube. We have a YouTube channel now. Please subscribe, and of course we have our website, so you can just check us out there, and you can call us 0379321409 if you have any questions at all. So our classes again, guys, are every Wednesday and Fridays, 3 to 5 p.m. So on Wednesdays, Dan leads the class, and then Dana leads the class on Fridays. But we are currently offering individual classes and also group classes. There's a fee for it. So do check us out on any of the above platforms. Okay, so I think we would like to wrap this up. So maybe last words from you, Dana, and also Dan.
All right, I can go first. Yeah, I just want to say thank you for this opportunity again. I am on Instagram as well, but you can also, ask Miasa for more of my information. I have an art therapy page where I do post art therapy related content, and that's where I'll be sharing, the posters as well for our upcoming classes and workshops. So it's Art Therapy KL. I'll get Miasa to maybe share it sometime.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm really excited and looking forward to everything that we have coming up. And, I'm really grateful to be part of Miasa, and really grateful that, this is something that you guys believe in and, choose to continue and, to continue spreading that awareness, and now actually, starting more classes, more.
Yeah. Very, very happy.
Individual sessions. Group sessions, I think we were held back for a little bit because of for obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But I think slowly now we'll be able to keep growing and keep spreading this kind of message of art and mental health and healing through the art. So I'm really happy to be part of this whole journey with you guys. And this has been really insightful today.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Dana. And also on the classes, it's not just for adults. We are currently offering classes for children as well. And how young, what age, Dana, can kids join? Minimum age?
I think, maybe 3 for right now.
3, yeah.
Yeah. It also depends on the kind of amount of resources that we have in terms of stuff, because the younger they are, it could be quite
right.
I think from ages
messy.
Yeah.
No, but we had a lot of comments. A lot of people want to volunteer to help out during the art classes. So you guys can have some assistance now.
Yeah. So I think definitely 3 and above, and I think maybe it depends on how many people are interested. We can have separate groups for different age groups, because children age groups,
and we can probably have it we can do it outside as well.
That's something we discussed before as well.
Right. Okay, thank you so much, Dana. Thank you very much for sharing all your knowledge and insights and experience. I think it's been very valuable for everyone listening. Thank you. Dan, last words.
Well, I want to thank Miasa for firstly starting the support group, because I really appreciated attending all the support groups.
Thank you, Dan.
Okay, and then also thank you all for actually starting the art part, the art classes, because I mean, to me it was a relief, and I hope it helped other people, and
definitely
that you all have started this going. It's wonderful. Just a short note on kids. I'm not good at kids, because I remember one class where I tried finger painting with kids, with Myanmar kids.
Yeah.
And what the kids would do, they dip their fingers and they would go splatter on all the walls and the curtains and all that. And I got so much negative feedback from all the mess that was going on at the time.
We just gotta be prepared.
I gave up on kids after that.
Yeah, we have to be prepared. Yeah, yeah. I think you didn't know what to expect because you didn't have any experience working with kids before.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
And kids will fight in class also.
But I can totally relate.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But that's what kids do. They express themselves, and it's good that they do that then because they feel safe doing it. You know what I mean? So there's a place for them to come and be messy and not getting scolded, but it's more about expressing themselves. And we want to provide that space, we want to provide that outlet for kids to be able to do that. So thank you so much, Dan, and thank you for, not giving up on Miasa and for continuing, this class. And yes, for those of you that have asked, we have it's called Circle Time. So we're doing our circle time every single month, and we are also doing our circle of care. And circle of care is for those that join our supported employment program. So it's not just supporting what everyone is going through in terms of their mental health challenges, but it's supporting them to be able to sustain their jobs that they have right now. So that's the difference between the two. But we also have support groups via WhatsApp. So those of you that are interested to become part of the support group, you can just follow our social media, call us up, and we can provide you the information. Okay, so I think that is it, guys. Thank you so much, Dana. Once again, thank you very much, Dan, and I will see you guys.
Thank you, Puan Anita.
All right, thank you. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for watching.
Bye.
Cool.
Right.